Hi, this is Kendra from Pencil and Pigment, and today I wanted to talk about preference. There are a lot of art supplies on the market, and some of it just boils down to what you prefer. So I have some pencils here as an example, but I get asked a lot, what's the best? What's the best watercolor? What's the best pencil? What's the best colored pencil? What's the best marker for my money? And honestly, some of it just comes down to preference. There isn't one that's the best or my absolute favorite, because what I prefer may not be what you prefer. So I have something as seemingly simple as just a 2B pencil. Now, a number 2 pencil is considered HB. You go up the H's, they become lighter. So 2H is lighter than HB, 4H is lighter than 2H. You come down the scale to the B's, and 2B is darker than HB, and 9B is darker than 2B. So these are 2B, these 4 right here. And these are made by 4 different companies. I have an Artist Loft Necessities. I have the Triograph, the Koh-I-Noor. Let's see if you can see that whole thing in there. This one is an Eberhard Faber design. And this is a limited edition Blackwing. So this is what these pencils look like. These are all 2B. They all have the same, let's see, color that's emitted. One isn't lighter than the other. These are all manufactured in different places. You could see this one just has a ton more lead. So this one lasts longer. It's also a triangular shape. Now, what I noticed with the reviews on this one is you either love it or you hate it. And some people say it feels like they're holding a child crayon and it's horrible. And other people, like myself, think it's incredibly comfortable. The larger triangular shape forces me to hold it differently and therefore reduces my hand cramps. I am 41 years old. If I am drawing for more than an hour in one sitting without taking breaks, I do get hand cramps. This series is also, there's a 4B and a 6B. They do need a larger hole pencil sharpener for this one. Now, so that would be why this one is so vastly different from the other 4. This one I did mention is limited edition. Blackwing does limited edition releases of their pencils. It also has a, gosh, what's that called? This guy right here. It holds the eraser, the ferrule. And these erasers are removable and adjustable, so you pinch the bottom and it comes out. And you can put a whole new eraser in there. And of course, their erasers come in different colors. And as you use it, you can move it around and it just goes back in. I know people that when they're done with the pencil, take the ferrule off and stick this on another pencil that doesn't have an eraser, like maybe one of these, and they just keep using them. This does make it longer in length. Yeah. So which one is better? Well, like I said, they're all 2B. They're all different prices. I will link everything down below. That one's pretty smooth. That one's also pretty smooth. This one's more lead than I'm working with. Yeah, they're all pretty similar. The hair softer would probably be the Blackwing. Just a hair softer. So from softest would go in this order. But other companies make pencils that I don't have 2Bs of. So this is the Faber-Castell, and this is a 4H that I currently have, so that's super, super pale. This one is a Berol Turquoise. I don't know if these are considered vintage now. There are people that collect vintage pencils. Like, that's a legitimate thing people do, because people like to collect things. But I have that. I have the Berol Draughting 314. I don't believe this one's made anymore. I think this one's darker than 2B. And then for my mechanical lovers, here's a Staedtler with a really wide. And that feels pretty, that might be a 3B. It's just a hair darker. Anyway, so what is better? What is worth the money? If I say, oh, are you going to buy it once, you're going to have it forever, you're never going to move on to anything else, I don't think that's realistic. So in your lifetime, you will, or your hobby or your career, you're going to try multiple different types of pencils. It's inevitable. You'll go somewhere, you'll forget one, people will give you one. That's just a thing that's going to happen. So what do you prefer? Do you prefer spending less? Do you prefer having a pencil? Do you prefer it having more lead? Figure out what your preferences are, and then that's the best pencil for you. For watercolors, I prefer pan to tube because it's all there. I don't have to squeeze any out. I don't have overlap left in a palette that I then have to figure out how to store that doesn't get smushed because we have humidity. I call it efficiency. It could be just plain laziness, but for watercolor, I prefer pan. I prefer artist grade over student grade. Do I have a preference between all the artist grades? Not really. Not really. Sorry, that's one of my alarms. I have pencil extenders for if, you know, you go all the way down to the end, you can keep using them. It's still comfortable. I have pencil toppers. These are my Blackwing ones. Also have plain silver ones that can be purchased. What's the best? The best is up to you. Do you like your watercolors granulated? Do you like them perfectly smooth? Do you like them super bright? It's the same with watercolor pencils. Do you prefer the Cran and Dash? Do you prefer the Albrecht Dürer? One's considered brighter than the other. What kind of things do you create that would give you a preference? What is your creative style? Maybe you don't use 2B at all. Maybe you sketch with a really light 4H, like Mary Englebright does, because she doesn't have to go back over and erase because it's so pale she can just keep going. Maybe you use a color erase. This is the Prismacolor. This is the copy light pale blue. This has an eraser on it. This, when you go to Xerox, something doesn't show up. So this is a very pale blue. Can you see that? I'm pressing down pretty hard. This doesn't Xerox copy. It's very pale. A lot of artists use this instead of a pencil altogether and then just color over it because it doesn't show up when they go to make copies and prints of their work. It just becomes a matter of preference. Some people don't even pre-sketch their illustrations or their creative stuff. Some people work solely on electronics, and then it's iPad versus desktop versus Wacom palette. What is the best? The best is up to you. The best is your preference. Could I recommend one of these more than the other? What do you do? What do you specialize in? What's your interest? I would say I'll link to articles that show artist grade versus student grade or quality. of light and dark between the different pencils. I know the Blackwing numerical system is a little wonky. I think this edition is similar to the 602, which again is a 2B. But it's just what feels comfortable. If you are heavy-handed, maybe you use a darker lead because you don't want to press down so hard. Maybe you like high contrast, and so something like, here's a 6B. I also have, let's see, where is he? Here's another pencil topper. Here's a Woodless pencil, 9B. So he's going to be very dark. There's no wood on that whatsoever. It's all pencil when you sharpen. It comes down to preference. And with this, if you want, with a 9B, if you want to get paler, lighter colors, you will need like a Stabilo, like one of these. And it helps with shading. It helps give you the lighter tones. Like so. I hope this is an interesting conversation starter. I hope you get some ideas. If you have any questions, leave them in the comment section down below, and I'll link as many of these as I can. I hope everyone has a wonderful day, and I'll talk to you all tomorrow. Bye.